In the highlands, where the ancient Bali Aga, meaning native Balinese, I guess as opposed to the Javanese from the Majapahit era, lies the village of Trunyan. The village is on the eastern side of the Bator Lake and usually requires a boat trip from the other side. Whilst Balinese Hindus are known for their lavish cremation ceremonies, the people of Trunyan don't cremate or bury their dead. Instead, the deceased are wrapped and brought by boat to the designated village graveyard. They're laid out on the ground around a large ancient fragrant tree with a wooden cage covering and protecting the remains from scavenging animals. The tree is known as the Taro Menyan, which the village gets its name from, is also known only to grow in Trunyan. Quite puzzling to many is there is no odour from the decomposing bodies is present, which the locals believe is neutralised by the tree's myrrh-like fragrance. Skulls and bones on moss-covered stairs are found here. A village in the district of Kubutambahan in North Bali is known as the Village of the Death, due to over 2% of its population being congenially deaf. The village has seen a high incidence of deafness that spans over 7 generations. Its people, known locally as Kolok, have developed a sign language known as Katakolok. The Kolok people have developed their own style of performing arts, from deaf dances to martial arts. They also have a unique social system for carrying rituals and social roles. There is a belief in a deaf god, which both the deaf and hearing villagers share. Pemuteran underwater temple is known for water ghosts. This marvellous Hindu temple is constructed amongst the oceanic wildlife as an environmental conservation project. Even though the place upholds immense beauty, the local divers often avoid flocking there due to poor visibility in the underwater site. The Ghost Palace Hotel is an abandoned mountain resort in the Central Highland, close by Penataran Lake and Ulan Danau Temple. The crumbling abandoned building is the Pi Bedugul Taman Rekreaksi Hotel and Resort, or Bedugul Taman Hotel for short, a project that was halted midway in the early 1990s. Most locals refrain from entering such a long abandoned place, as it's rumoured to be haunted. Founded under the name Pi Bedugul Taman Rekreaksi Hotel and Resort, Ghost Palace Hotel was first discovered by accident by Jacob Laukitas. He found it in December 2015 when he got lost on a travelling trip. He then recorded it and uploaded his video to his YouTube account. Suddenly, Jacob's video shocked Bali and all its fans. Located in the mountainous area on the Bedugul Plateau, about 50 kilometres north of Kuta, the Ghost Palace Hotel stands like an old nobleman who's fallen asleep. The building is not completely intact. A snake statue in the middle of the hotel looks as if it's furious. The impression of being haunted, dark and damp, is strong from the exterior. The haunted impression becomes even stronger when you see the inn, which was built in the style of a 5-star luxury hotel, decorated with vines, wild grass and a dull layer of walls. The floor is made of new marble, which unfortunately has never been cleaned. For more than a decade, standing abandoned, the Ghost Palace Hotel still has the hotel furniture and equipment that was deliberately provided to welcome the first guests before the inn was finally abandoned. Until now, there's been no definitive story of the origins of the Ghost Palace Hotel. However, amongst the various issues circulating, there are 2 stories that are most famous. The first comes from the Chandana family. There is news that around 1990s, the Ghost Palace Hotel was originally built as an investment project for Tommy Suharto, the youngest son of the former Indonesian president, Suharto. But unfortunately the construction of the hotel stopped when Tommy was imprisoned in 2002 after being found guilty of ordering the murder of a judge at the Supreme Court. He allegedly killed the judge because he was caught committing a criminal act of corruption. Since then, the construction of the P.I. Bedugal Hotel and Resort Recreation Park has no longer been continued. And I do need to add that Tommy sued Garuda, the national airline, for saying that he'd been to prison for this act, and they found in his favour because it was deemed that he'd served his time and therefore served his sentence. So I hope I'm okay in saying what I've said, and maybe I ought to put allegedly all across it. The second story comes from local residents. It's said that P.I. Bedugal Taman Recreasi Hotel and Resort was previously an inn that was actively operating and filled with guests. One day everyone suddenly disappeared in one night. It's suspected that the residents left the hotel because they were being disturbed by astral creatures. The astral creatures came from construction workers who died while working because they were too tired while building the P.I. Bedugal Taman Recreasi Hotel and Resort. According to local residents, they often see a woman with short hair coming out of the hotel and teasing the drivers. She also walks around the hotel. There is also news that this haunted hotel often emits crowd noises at certain times. The sounds seemed to scare everyone who passed by, but because the building was old and empty, in the past the Ghost Palace Hotel was guarded by two people, known as the cleaner and the gatekeeper. Because since its occupants abandoned it, the hotel is not open to the public. Anyone who wishes to enter the Ghost Palace is expected to bring a room fee of 10,000 rupiah. Until now, many bloggers and tourists who like mystical destinations take the time and see for themselves the strange events that have occurred. Even so, nowadays it's reported that no one is allowed to enter the Ghost Palace Hotel area, despite me mentioning that you need 10,000 rupiah. A renowned tourist attraction, Muaya Beach near Jimbaran, is famous for its beautiful white sand, gentle waves and jenglots, small vampire-like creatures which wash up on the shores. Jenglots are dangerous beasts, resemble tiny human beings, only that they drink blood and can control the actions of their victims, including murder. Whilst this may not have made the national news, it's definitely got tongues wagging in the Muaya Beach community after some joggers discovered two jenglots on the shoreline. They brought the creatures to a local healer, Jero Manku, who managed to neutralise the power of the jenglot just in time before the two joggers lost their minds. Goa Gong Temple is a unique temple cave hidden behind the modern development of the Jimbaran Resort, located 2 kilometres south of Undaya University campus. Jalan Goyang Going Road leads you through the Batu Nungoyak community. Sharp left puts you in face with a pair of big cat statues with eerie checkered cloths. Eerie gargoyles guarding the flight of stairs to the cave opening. You're not allowed to enter unless the temple supervisor and keeper, priest Manku Gurung Simpen, is on site. Inside, a large and dim-lit cavity reveals dedicated stone shrines with soothing sound of dripping water from the rocky cave's stalactites. There's huge stalactites behind the shrines that serve as a functioning stone gong. It's struck during rituals, usually during the temple anniversary. Descend into the darkness of Goa Peteng, an impressive natural limestone sinkhole located right beside the resort of the Anya Resort and Spa in Jimbaran. Goa Peteng, literally dark cave in local tongue, is located on a farming field owned by resident Pak Ketchu and his son Yoman Supaka. A large banyan tree with accompanying shrines guards the cave opening, and daylight becomes scarce after only several down. Vines further down into gaps and openings, reaching beyond tight spaces inside the cave. A dense air and bats chirp the hollow surroundings. Stalactites and stalagmites shimmer throughout. If you can endure approximately 150 metres or 15-minute descent, you'll reach the fresh water pool at its base. It's said that on a full moon, a narrow passage opens as the water level lowers, revealing a causeway that leads to a hidden chamber. When you're going along Jalan Bypass from Goa Rai from the airport towards Nusa Dua, keep your attention to the left, as around 500 metres from Benoa Square and right beside Dunkin' Donuts is a bizarre old white Boeing 737. The plane is parked in a yard, and rumour has it that the owner has plans to make it into a quirky restaurant, but all fell through and the abandoned plane now just sits as a nice and spot for passers-by. This is one of four abandoned planes in Bali. This 737 is in a slightly hidden location up in the hilly limestone of the Bukit Peninsula, surrounded by a wall of shipping containers. The site is only 1 kilometre north at Muaya Beach and sits on privately owned hectare of carved limestone hill. Another place that is feared by many Balinese because it's haunted by evil powers is the island of Nusa Penida. Every Balinese must at least once in his life make a pilgrimage to the island to visit a specific temple, the Pura Dalem, Penataran Pede, whose energy provides a negative balance to divine positive energy. The temple has a sanctuary, a source of power for those who practice black magic, and a place of pilgrimage for those seeking to protect themselves from evil and sickness. Penida was a long time ago inhabited by demons, evil spirits, and one of the most feared in local mythology, Gede Machaling, the king of the demons who inspired the dance Barong Landung. The demon of the village, Batuan Bali, was exiled to Nusa Penida because he was accused of being responsible for diseases and disasters. It's said that he always comes to Bali from time to time to do damage. You can understand the Balinese fear and respect when they believe that it is essential for the Balinese that there is always a balance for everything. In Bali, everything has its place, and in order to have harmony between the two worlds, the borders must be clear. So before each construction, a religious ceremony must be made to relocate the spirits before construction begins. However, with the development at Bali, the spirits are dislocated and compressed into smaller spaces. This creates an imbalance in the supernatural world. The human takes the environment of the spirit, especially the rivers and forests that are their roads and houses. More and more villas, houses are built that often have no altars or offerings. This is a problem. The people of the river are disturbed, and because they are without homes. There is also a temple devoted to Nira Orkidal on Nusa Penida. Pura Paluang is one of the most unique temples in Bali, located on the island of Nusa Penida. The unique complex is often called the Bali Car Temple by travellers mainly because its shrines in the form of a house and two cars. If you're travelling to Nusa Penida, particularly around the island's rugged limestone cliffs on the southwest coast, you can combine a visit to Pura Paluang and King Beach, a scenic outlook 650 metres west. The large cave temple is in the village of Suana, on the northeastern part of the island. Clear signs lead you to the site along Jalan Ped Boyuk main road. A shrine and a priest praying shelter guard its entrance. The entrance itself is uniquely a narrow opening in the rock face. You'll need to stop down low to be able to squeeze and get through. Inside you'll discover a spacious temple courtyard. Flooring before the main shrines in the cave's corner are partially covered in white marble. As your eyes adjust to the dim lights, the scene is nothing short of magical. At Goa Giri Putri temple, there are a total of 6 praying spots. These include the preceding stairway to the Ida Hyang Tri Purasalan Ganapati shrine at the entrance. The remaining 5 spots are inside. Visiting pilgrims must go through all of them consecutively. Visits include a holy water purification ritual. Devotees take their seats on the raised marble platform. This is due to the surrounding floor of the caves being constantly moistened by water dripping from stalactites. During major ceremonies, pilgrims must take turns in getting in and out of the cave. Another new unique feature of the cave temple is the final praying spot. This is devoted to the Chinese deities, such as Wan Ying, the goddess of mercy, as well as the god of earth and sky. It's decorated with red Chinese lanterns and ornaments that would usually find at a Chinese temple. Many pilgrims pray here and ask for blessings for better business and prosperity. As this is a sacred site, proper attire must be worn when visiting Goa Giri Putri. If you didn't bring a sarong and a sash, you can rent them out at the temple's base. A lighting inside the cave is adequate, but if you're planning to take photos, a tripod and camera or smartphone with low light capabilities would be best. Nusa Lembongan Island is the Gala-Gala underground house, or Goa Gala-Gala. The limestone underground house started as a passionate cave project by house owner Madi Bayasa, who, inspired by an episode from the Mahabharata epic in which Pandava hero fled the persecution of Kauravas by hiding in a cave. The project turned into a decade-long obsession, and Goa Gala was completed in 1976. After the 7-metre descent down the hole in the ground, there are a kitchen, sleeping quarters and a living room deep underground. Goa Lawah is one of Bali's most important temples. It features a complex built around a cave opening that is inhabited by hordes of bats that simply translates to Bat Cave. The temple was established in the 11th century by Kubutambahan, one of the early priests who laid the foundation of Hinduism on the island. It's a popular stopover for locals travelling to eastern parts of Bali, who come in with offerings and short prayers before continuing on with their travels. For foreign visitors, it's often included in the many temple excursions and is one of the first stops on tours to Chandidasa and regions within the Karangasaran Regency. You can easily see the outline of the Nusa Penida Islands on the horizon of Goa Lawah. The large banyan tree stands tall of the main entrance of Goa Lawah. Upon entering the temple complex, temple's central courtyard, you'll feel 3 bales or pavilions in the corners of the complex. These bales are usually where fruit offerings are placed and where gamelan bands play during major ceremonies. At the centrepiece there are age-old shrines which have hordes of nectar bats chirping in a frenzied din around and behind the shrine at the cave opening. There is a Shaivite shrine which has stood for thousands of years, together with a bale decorated with the motifs of Naga Basuki, the mystical dragon who's believed to keep the cosmos at balance. and once a place for deep meditation for priests, despite seeming improbable to do so amid the chirping and the hollow cave opening amplifying the noise. Many people believe the constant natural high pitch aided in the focus of their thoughts. During the Pemuteran temple anniversaries, Goa Lawah's scene becomes truly exotic, with pilgrims in bright traditional attire carrying colourful parasols and banners. One mystery that's yet to be solved is whether the legend that tells of the cave's secret passage through to the Besakia temple, some 25 kilometres north, at the foot of Mount Anjung, is true. The tale goes that the prince from Menguani kingdom hid from his enemies inside the cave and afterwards followed through, eventually emerging at the Besakia temple at the foot of Mount Anjung, northeast from this location. No one has attempted to prove or bring light into this interesting tale. According to the locals, the temple community, the cave leads to 3 locations: Mount Anjung, Besakia, Talibeng, and Tangid Bang. There are various accounts for Ashra emerging from Goa Lawah when Mount Anjung erupted in 1963.